Good morning. Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. I'm out on another walk on another cold January morning. It's a Sunday morning actually, and I'm passing just over here behind me Sompting's Church. Just up there, beautiful church. I've yet to make a proper video about the church actually, which I must do at some point. Just before COVID, about a year ago, or just under a year ago, I had the opportunity of having a guided tour, but we had to cancel it because of COVID, which is a real shame. Anyway, I'm walking on a path that I've walked before, and the reason for that is this is winter, and it was, I think, April time when I walked it last time, something like that. So I want to see how things are different, but also I want to talk about a completely different subject, and I'm just using the walk as a nice simple walk to talk about it. Just looking at the old man's beard here on the hedgerows. I seem to remember that winter is a time when old man's beard is pretty much everywhere. There's more of it here. Is it clematis that it comes from? That's the actual plant or the shrub. Anyway, it's interesting to have a look at different seasons in the places that you go to see how much has changed. This route that I'm taking, of course I'll put the map on the screen, seems to be quite popular with runners and cyclists already. It's a bit misty and cold, but the sun is trying to actually break through, which is lovely. Now, what I did before and what I'm going to do again is go up this path here. So you've got Sompting Church just behind me. This goes up, and this is just a sort of a mile and a half simple, very simple walk. There's a field here just behind me, or to the side of me. It's got turnips, whole field of turnips, and then just at the top there are sheep feeding on the turnips. At least I think that's what the situation is. The turnips look like they've got dirty great chunks taken out of them. Mixed farming. That's what I like to see. I do like to see that up on the downs. It's a lovely little place up here, and this nice, just gentle, simple little walk with a bit of climbing involved, which is something else I enjoy. A little bit of climbing to get the old blood going. But the thing I wanted to talk about was sleep. In this video, sleep. It's a very important thing that we get sleep, good 8 hours of sleep. They say if you don't have enough sleep, it takes days, years off your life, and it can lead to things like dementia. And I wonder if that's what was happening with my dad. I know they say that older people get less and less sleep, or need less and less sleep, but I don't know whether that's true, whether they may think they don't need it, but perhaps they do. There's a north-east wind, chilly one, whistling round my ears. I know people will say, "Oh, Richard, you should be wearing a hat." Please. When it's colder, I wear a hat. You lose more body heat from your chest and your back than you do your head. It's a bit of an urban myth that you lose so much of it from your head. I know. Anyway, sleep. Yeah. I don't always get 8 hours sleep. Sometimes I'll mostly go to sleep very quickly, but sometimes I'll wake around 3ish, and then I do struggle to get to sleep. The old brain starts to tick over with lots of things that need to be thought about, often about the videos. Where am I going to go? Why was that video not very interesting? That sort of thing. I think I'm going to get out of the wind, actually. It's taken me a bit of an effort to get out of the wind, actually. I've carried on with my walk a little round the farm at the top of the hill now, and I'm sort of working my way back down again. There are some very lovely views from up here, and it's so, even though it's a walk that I've done before, it's just well worth coming out again. I really enjoy it. So back to sleep then. That was the object of the walk, was to find a subject and talk about it while I'm walking, but I'm being so distracted by the views and things. I don't know whether this as a format's going to work. I've got to discipline myself a bit more. I know that, is it Margaret Thatcher was alleged that she survived on 4 hours of sleep a night. Well, she had dementia in the end, didn't she? I think it is absolutely vital to get as much sleep as you can. I know some people say, well, I'll sleep when I'm dead. You know, you're a long time dead, but you may become dead quicker than you expect if you're not getting the sufficient amount of sleep that you need. But what do you do if you're an insomniac and you struggle with sleep? I often find, for me, the best thing is to get up, go and do something, maybe have a cup of tea or a milky drink or something like that. I know a lot of people like to have a hot milky drink before they go to bed. And I like to sort of do something to stop my brain from focusing on those things that have been agitating me. Just lying there doesn't seem to be able to cut it for me. So I feel I have to get up and do something. And then I go back to bed. And then generally, I end up going back to sleep pretty quickly. Anyway, there's this thing, isn't there? I mean, traditionally, before electric lights, we only had candles. You think of the old days, Middle Ages, farmers back in that period. They would rise when the sun came up, go to bed when it was dark. There was little else to do. And why would you do anything else? It was a hassle to keep warm, especially in the winter. And this is the old treacle mine in there. They put gates in there since I was last in. I'll leave a link to the treacle mine video. Yes, I think there must have been, sleeping with the seasons is also probably a good thing. I think in this modern world we've tried to defeat a whole load of different types of natural body, what would you call it, body clock, rhythm, whatever it is. I think that we, as a human species, try to fight what is basically nature, Mother Nature. Going to bed when it's dark, getting up when it's light, sleeping more in the winter when it's cold and avoiding the cold and staying wrapped up and warm, and getting out early and doing things and being up longer in the spring and summer. I don't know, maybe it's just a ridiculous theory. Maybe it's not a thing. Maybe as we've become more civilized, then we have a better way of dealing with it. But I'm not convinced. I think there is something in the old way of doing things that we seem to just ignore, and we ignore at our peril. I think that goes for things like farming, the things that it goes to about eating locally produced food, and I think that also deals with things like sleep. But for some reason, we've made this world much more complicated, haven't we? We're supposed to be civilized, but we've made this world far more complicated. Everything is so expensive. Cost of living is expensive. We're working very, very long hours. We're not getting perhaps as much enjoyment as we would like. And consequently, our bodies seem to be at the mercy of all sorts of mental illnesses, viruses, of course, very topical at the moment, and exhaustion. And yet there is the argument, of course, that yes, we are living longer and we don't have to chase animals for food. So somewhere in there's a balance. I'd be interested in your thoughts and your comments. Do leave them down below. It'd be fascinating to find out. Anyway, that's just a little bit of musings on sleep and life in general, I think. But are you getting enough sleep? Do you think you're getting enough sleep? Would you like to sleep more? Be interested to know. This will now take me back. This pathway will now take me back. It's running parallel to the Downs and parallel to the A27 and will take me back towards Sompting's Church, St Mary's, Saxon Church, parts of it. An amazing church. I must go and do a video about it in more detail at some point. And then I've actually parked just south of the A27 because I didn't think I could get my van into St Mary's Church car park. They've got a height restriction barrier there, which is a bit of a shame. The sun's come out and it's been a brilliant walk in terms of sunshine. I didn't expect this at all, and I looked at the weather forecast yesterday. It was a bit grim. Had I have known the sun was going to come out, I may have gone and got on with my Sussex border walk, but I wanted to try out this format of talking about a subject whilst walking. I'm not sure it's worked because I think as I said, I'm more distracted by the beautiful scenery and everything. However, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's just good to get outside and get, whilst we do get a bit of that sun, some vitamin D. That's the best thing for warding off all the viruses that are floating around at the moment. It's very, very healthy for you. And of course we don't get that much of it in January. So I shall continue my walk back now, leaving the Downs up that way, Worthing back that way, and I'll thank you for watching. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe, and become a patron. Support what I do, would be great. Give me a thumbs up, and do leave a comment, but please, positive comments only. This year I think we all need to be positive, and negative comments will just get deleted, so there's no point leaving them. We're just going to try and stay in a very positive frame of mood going on into this decade of the 2020s. I think we need to, don't we? Anyway, try and get as much sleep as you can, if you can. If you've got remedies for not sleeping and suggestions, then love to hear that. There'll be a lot of people out there who don't get as much sleep, and it would be great to hear what you suggest for that. Anyway, I'm going to carry on and get back to my van now. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye.